welcome to the weekly Holistic Transformation podcast by the Dancing Bear Enlightenment Academy. I'm your host, Dr. Beverly. Today, I thought I would talk about the fire element. So in Western culture, there's only 4 elements, but in the rest of the world, there's 5 elements. And one of those elements, whether it's 4 or 5, is fire. And as you know, we look at helping people meditate. And one of the first elements we start talking about is fire. Fire can either destroy with its abundance of energy, or it creates the energy we need to move forward. And one of the excuses, and the reason you don't meditate is always just an excuse. I believe everyone should be meditating. It's the only way to know who you are, what's going on, how to manage yourself. But the fire people say, well, I can't sit still. I don't want to sit there going, Om. Well, don't. I mean, there's many ways to meditate. And the fire element is one of those that sitting still is not the right way for you to meditate. So what kind of problems do fire element people have? Well, a lot of times they don't know their sole purpose because they're too busy. They don't stop. They don't want to smell the roses. They keep going, especially if you're the Aries type. Impulsive, keep going, travel, doing things. The next sign in astrology would be Leo. They like to shine bright and be the center of attention. And then, of course, you have Sagittarius, which is a little calmer than the other two. And it likes travel as well, but it's not quite as impulsive, but it does have a lot of energy. So you've got the sun, which rules, I was going to say Cancer. That's a water sign. Leo comes right after Cancer. So the sun rules Leo. Mars, the god of war, rules Aries. And then Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, which used to be a sun. It's now just a gas giant. So those are pretty powerful planets. Of course, the sun isn't a planet, but, we call it a planet anyway. So that's a lot of energy. So if you have all that energy and you're avoiding smelling the roses, what are you doing? Well, you may have monkey mind. You can't sit still, you're antsy, you want to keep going. And you don't have to necessarily have your sun in that sign. It might be your ascendant. You might have your moon there, or you might have a cluster, a stellium or something of planets in one of the fire signs, which is going to affect you. So what kind of meditations do you do? Well, there's several you can do when you're a fire sign, but one of the ones that I highly recommend is a moving or a standing meditation. So standing meditations were done by the Hawaiians. They would stand by the ocean and they had to stand there all night. They stood there and watched the waves and watched the sun set or sun come up, depending on what side of the island you were on, until whatever their issue was that was troubling them was resolved in their mind. And let's face it, emotional issues are all internal. They're not external. So if you need to deal with an emotional issues, you need to just focus. The Native Americans would stand by a tree and maybe they would hug a tree. One of my favorite things to do is talk to the tree and then put my back and my head against the tree. It's very grounding and it will pull you in and really calm you down. Connects you to the earth at a deep level. But then, of course, you've got moving meditations. A lot of people do yoga, but to me, the way Americans do yoga, they treat it like an exercise. It is not an exercise. You need to learn the spiritual meditations first and do those, and then know which poses you should do and hold to clear your channels. A few weeks ago, I think it was a little over a month ago, I did have a speaker I interviewed who used to teach yoga, and now she just teaches the spiritual because she said the same thing. Too many people don't teach what you need to learn to do yoga. One of the other two that I really like and do, one is Qigong and the other is Tai Chi. So Qigong is considered a standing meditation. You can do it sitting. And Tai Chi is a moving meditation, and it begins and ends with a Qigong stance. So in Qigong, you actually do move. But one of the things that's nice about Qigong is if you're older and you're not so flexible, you can do a sitting Qigong. But you're moving your arms when you sit, and if you're standing, you do move your legs. It's just not a continuous movement. It's not a flow. Instead, it's more of a move the energy, pause, pull in the energy, pause, that sort of thing. Whereas Tai Chi has more of a flow with different stances that you go through. And Tai Chi, I've never seen it done sitting. I think you have to stand up and move. And it's a lot of people like to do it outside. So you go out first thing in the morning, and as the sun comes up, and you do your Tai Chi or Qigong. You don't have to do it then, but that's when a lot of people I know, that's when they like to do it the best. So martial arts, again, you need to learn the spiritual aspects. And if you go to Asia, they're going to first teach you to meditate and to understand that the purpose of the martial arts, some are offensive, some are defensive. But first, you want to learn how to not get yourself into a situation where you need to be on an offensive stance or a defensive stance. That's what you're supposed to learn first to avoid conflicts. Then you learn how to get yourself out of it. So these are the kind of things that resonate best and work best for fire element people. Another one, I've talked to a lot of people who say, well, I like to just go walk on the beach. Guess what? When you're walking on the beach, walking is a meditation. When you work purposefully, walk purposely, one step at a time, focusing on your step and not, oh, look at over there. Oh, look at over there. You know, you're really focused. You're going inward and walking. And that can be walking in the woods, walking on a trail. And if you can't go outside, it's raining, like right now we have rain here in Arizona. Walk around in the house, walk up and down. If you have a hallway, even apartments have hallways. So no matter what size place you live in, whether it's a apartment, a condo, a townhouse, a house, you usually have some kind of a hallway between the living area and the bedroom. Worst case, walk around the living room, walk around the kitchen, whatever. Walk around in your house, just walk around slowly. And it helps if you play some music. Personally, I like music with drums, shamanic type music, but you can get like hung drum. If you go on YouTube, there's tons and tons and tons of channels with meditation music. So you can look up walking meditation, standing meditation, hung drum, anything with shamanic drumming, because it has a nice rhythmic beat. So you can go into that pace with your walking, so you can make it very rhythmic, but you don't have to use music if you don't want to. But it's nice, just put in a headset or something and walk with the music. So that's what you can do. Excuse me, a little thing with my eye there. For the fire element. So if you want to know more about meditation, what to do, how to do it, I do have a free program. It's free. There's no upsell, nothing. It doesn't have any dogma. It doesn't say you have to be this religion. In fact, I've had every kind of religion, including Catholics, Muslims, everything go through my program. I do teach it once or twice a year live, but it's posted in my app. If you don't have an app on your phone, there's a web version. Okay, so it's at the Dancing Bear Enlightenment Academy, and you have to register, and you go to omforsuccess.com, and it's free, and it will send you a little code. So you go either into the app or into the website. The website's, if you go to dancingbearenlightenmentacademy.com, and if you click on the app tab, it will take you to a page where you can pick Android or Apple. If you want the web version, you just go to DBEenlightenmentacademy.com, DB for Dancing Bear, and you create a login ID. That's free. And you click unlock code after you log in, and you enter the code that you got in the email. And then you go to the classroom menu. On the website, it's up at the top. In the app, it's over under the hamburger, the little squiggly lines or straight lines on the top left side of no, at least on the iPhone. I don't know where it is on an Android. And you just go to the classes tab and then select Om for Success. It's an 80-day program. So you will get one class every 30 days. And they're very short. Most are like 2 to 5 minutes long, and then you have homework. So I don't do the work for you. I tell you what to do, and you do it. And it just takes you through one step at a time. And I've had brand new people who have never meditated go through the program. And I've had very experienced senior program, long-term meditators go through the program. All of them say when they come out the other end, they got something out of it and learned something, because you're going to learn different ways to meditate. So maybe you're not a fire element, like I'm supposedly ascendant water element and sun earth element. So what happens when I get monkey mind? What happens when I just had to drive a long way? I'm completely ungrounded. I do a fire element meditation. So knowing these different ways to meditate can help you depending on what's going on in your life. So this takes you through the 30 days. At the end of the 30 days, a week later, you're given a webinar. And it's only about, I think it's 45 minutes to an hour long. It's not long, and you'll have more homework, but it's an overview to a master program. The master program is 6 weeks long. So a week after that, because you have homework after every class, so you have a week to do your homework, because that's a little bit longer class. So a week later, another class will show up. So when you first log in, you just wait a minute. It takes a moment for them all to load. First, you'll see the 30-day program. And when the 30-day program expires, and you can always go back and redo it, then the next line comes up, which will be the webinar. And then a week later, the masterclass shows up. And then on the right, the first masterclass will show up, which is fire. And then a week later, earth shows up. A week later, air shows up, then water, and then wood in Chinese medicine, or aether in Ayurvedic medicine. And then the 6th class pulls together your chakras and the elements. So you have the 5 elements and the first 5 chakras and how they relate. And it also talks about the 7 rays and how they apply. And that's the whole program. So you get the masterclass 1 week at a time. Again, there's homework. I give you the explanations, and then you do the homework. And that whole process takes about 80 days. And when you're through, you will know your purpose, you will know your element type. You should have a power animal and a spiritual being to help you if you don't already have those. And you'll know how to use different meditations. And some people will say they love the fact that I give all of these YouTube links, and they created a file of all the links so that when they need help, they just go look at them. Oh, I need help with this chakra, or I need help with a walking meditation, or what have you, because I give you all kinds of examples in the program that you can get for free on YouTube. Okay, so that's my talk for this week. Join us at omforsuccess.com and go to the DBEenlightenmentacademy.com for the web version, or go to dancingbearenlightenmentacademy.com for downloading the app. And again, it's free. And those links will all be down below. So thank you for joining us. And next week, we have a great talk with Dr. April, a good friend of mine I've known for several years. She's a author, a singer, and just an incredible lady, very funny. Just really enjoyed talking to her, and she'll be our guest next week. So we'll see you then. And remember to be the light you want to see in the world.